Hey y'all, it's your girl Stephanie. This is Wrestling Color Podcast right here on YouTube. Make sure you thumbs up the video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and my Pinterest because I like to post pretty pictures. Make sure y'all jump down and hit me in the discourse. In the Discord. I love y'all commentary. I love talking to y'all, and I love seeing y'all talk to each other respectfully, of course. So what we talking about? Well, I finally got to see the remainders of Roads to the Top, episode 5 and 6. Woo! That is the season finale. So season 1 of Roads to the Top was 6 episodes. All right. So I'm going to try to remember the hot points in these episodes really quick. So episode 5, we have Brandy Rhodes. It's Brandy Rhodes heavy. We got introduced to 2 wrestlers who were at the Nightmare Factory. We got introduced to Arn Anderson's son Brock. He was the 2 other wrestlers. One I think is Samoan. 2 females. They were on AEW Elevation under the tutelage of Dustin Rhodes. And Brock Anderson, because he is Arn Anderson's son, got the nepotism rub. That's just what it is. That's the business. Maybe we should all, dive into nepotism. So he was on AEW Dynamite in a tag match that included Cody, and he went over. I forgot who he pinned. So there's that. Okay, so then we go into Brandy. Brandy is heavily pregnant, according to Cody, 35 weeks. I'm going to be honest, I did not care for the way Brandy was talking about pregnancy. Um, this whole, she's just really focused on getting back in the ring. And then at one point she was like, do you know what happens after you have a baby? You pee on yourself. Like, I, you're getting a C-section, sweetie. And it's planned. You're planning a C-section. Even after a baby, you're not going to pee on yourself. Ask me how I know. So anyway, we get that. Cody is very sensitive. Cody doesn't mind crying. I love that for him. I love men that are in tune with their sensitive side, and most wrestlers are, which is amazing to me because the wrestlers will cry and then they'll beat the fuck out of their wives and kill them and stuff. But that's neither here nor there. So anyway, Brandy went on downstairs, and Cody's sister Teal and his mom came over to watch one of his wrestling matches. And this is the point where Teal decided to give Brandy a bracelet that her father gave her, which is Dustin Rhodes. When she was a baby, she said, "This is for the baby. This isn't for you. It's for the baby." And Brandy took it, said, "That's lovely." Then Brandy conveyed to them that she can't wait to get back into the ring, which concerned the mother and the daughter. They were just like, "Are you serious?" Like, they didn't think that Brandy was this passionate about wrestling. They reminded her that she's the chief brand officer, and she essentially needs to sit the fuck down somewhere and do chief brand officer shit, whatever that is, because I'm still trying to figure out exactly what Brandy does. Um, Besides host AEW heels. So she was very kind of annoyed by that. She doesn't like when they second guess her. She said when they come over, they're always like, "Oh, no matter what she does, they say, 'Oh, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna do it like that. Is that how you've been doing it?'" Like, because they pointed out she broke her clavicle bone, and she said, "Well, that's a long time, and I learned a lot." She wants to wrestle. She already said in a previous episode that there's going to be some type of night nurse or some bullshit, she said. Um, so then we went on to Cody is working. He's in a program with Malachi Black. What else did we have going on in episode 5? Brandy went ahead on and went into labor during her AEW Heels promo or whatever. She called the midwife. Midwife said if it's 5 minutes apart, then we cooking. Call within an hour. Then we fast forward. They're in the hospital, getting ready for baby Liberty to be born, and she is in fact born at some point through C-section. They showing Brandy. She looks beautiful. Brandy is a beautiful woman. They can't deny that. She looks very beautiful and she's rubbing the baby and Cody's just, the father. And he's just, yay, One thing I do notice is that Brandy pointed out that Cody was talking shit about his sister when she was first going to meet the family. And somehow that got recorded and sent to the sister over the phone as a voice message. So he told her, "Oh man, I just recorded the shit talking I was doing about my sister Teal, and she's gonna hate you." And Cody has this thing where he just allows his family to disrespect his wife. I have a problem with that. Yes, Brandy is strong enough to deal with on her own, but at the end of the day, that is your sister. You need to pull her back in, as well as your mother, because at this point, you're married to your wife who just gave you a baby. A lot of men have this issue with handling the women in their lives to the detriment of the wife or the girlfriend. So she said maybe that's the reason why her and Teal are strained, or is it the reason why Teal has issues because she uses the Rhodes name, which I think is bizarre because she asked Dustin, he said, "Go ahead, baby," and then she is married to a Rhodes. Her last name is Brandy Rhodes, so I don't get Teal's beef. I honestly think it's because Brandy's black, but that's just me. Teal gives off a lot of Trump-esque Daughters of the Confederate behavior. Mm. But his mom is bearable. If I was her, I would have just invited the mother over. I wouldn't invite Teal, but whatever. Um, Let me think. So anyway, that was episode 5. So now we're going into episode 6. Episode 6 picks off where Brandy gave birth. We're basking in her post-pregnancy glow. They take the baby home. Whoop, 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 whoop. Cody is enamored. He doesn't want to go to work. He wants to be home with the baby and the wife, which is funny because he is also allotted 4 weeks of paternity. So I don't know if he took the paternity before or what. He wants a break. He can literally take paternity leave. So I'm not really understanding that issue that he's having. Um, at some point they talking about how Brandy wants to return to the ring. Cody, I agree with, said you should come in at the bottom and work your way up. Brandy feels that she doesn't have to do that because she's a bitch. Everyone wants her to be a bitch. She said bitch probably 7 times, and so she wants to come in on top as a bitch doing bitch things. She doesn't want to do the work, is what I got. Because to be a face and everyone sees you as a bitch, you have to work for the crowd to accept what you're giving them. We see this with Cody because he's being booed and he's a mega baby face. And his just recently he cut a promo, I believe it was just Wednesday, where he said, "I'm not gonna be a face. Like I'm not gonna be a heel. I'm gonna be a face, and this is what it is. I'm gonna do the hard thing." And you have to work to get the crowd on your side, even when they're booing you. And I don't think Brandy is ready for that work. Is ready to do that work and come back fresh and different. She wants to come back the regular Brandy. I'm a bitch and this is what it is. So at one point Cody's coming home and or going to somewhere and he has a suitcase with a placenta in it and he let the guys know it's a placenta. He tried to explain to them what a placenta was. And I believe QT said, "Oh, it's like a bubble the baby was in." And he said, "Yeah." Then he said, "I have no idea what placenta is." Essentially, QT was right. It's a big bubble the child is in. The sac, when the baby comes, the sac comes out later. They usually use that for shampoos and stem cells and all types of shit. They don't throw your placenta away, ladies. Now, you can take your placenta with you. Some women even allow the placenta because it's beating like a heart. They even allow the placenta to stay with the baby for a couple hours to continue to transfer that nutrients because it's essentially the baby's line to the mother. And then some ladies do eat the placenta. Now they don't eat it like a steak. You can cook it and eat it. She was getting it turned into pill form and wanted to take it that way. I mean, that is what a lot of people are doing that can afford to do that. So Cody's getting ready for his big match against Malachi Black, and he's being booed, and he doesn't know how to take it. It is hurting his feelings. He did say that, but I think Cody is still emotional because he just gave birth. He just got his he's just got introduced to a daughter. He is a new father. He's been emotional the entire episode. He's like crying and explaining what fatherhood means to him and what he can do. And I think he's taking this emotion into the ring as well. Um, Arn Anderson is in the back with everybody, and he's like, telling Malachi, like, Cody's putting you over it big time, and Malachi's like, I appreciate it. Cody cuts a promo when he takes his boots off. Remember, we thought he was going to retire, but that's just his angle. He came out. Arn was there to greet him, tell him he's doing a good thing, and then he goes and talks to Tony Khan. Tony Khan, who looks like a fucking newborn baby himself. Him and Cody goes and talks to each other, and Cody says, "Listen, I need a break." Tony eyes stretched, his eyebrows were like, "What? We're going to Madison Square Garden?" Tony's like, "Yeah, we about to take over New York." And here is Cody talking about he needs a break. So Tony said, "Well, listen, take 24 to 48 hours, chill out. I know you're gonna be itching to get back in the ring. Like you just need a break." He said, "Well, that's probably what it is. So I'm gonna take a break." He called Brandy. Brandy gave him, his a good pep talk. Like, you've been putting people on your back. You're in pain. A lot's going on. You probably do need a break. He was crying, and he just said, "I'm coming home, and I just need a break." Woo, woo, woo. And it's understandable. Take a break. You can get 4 weeks paternity leave, sir. I don't understand the problem. The whole, oh, it's new toys. Am I old? The company's literally what, 2, 3 years old. The new toy, they aren't new toys. They're literally secondhand goods. I mean, just to say, although it's refreshing and everything, but Cody, you have a place. Maybe you're insufferable and over the top and unbearable with your ring interest and the whole babyface spiel, but for the most part, you have a place in AEW. You're not going nowhere. It would be bizarre if you was not there for too long. Um, he just thinks, he's going to be. I don't know what the fuck Cody thinks, but Cody's not going to be forgotten. He plays a pivotal role in everyone's development. Okay, so ultimately that was the whole episode was more of Cody realizing his role has changed. He's a father now. Um, his wife is itching to get back in the ring. How that's gonna work out with the ladies, his sister, his mom, they have a say whether she likes it or not. Because Cody's not gonna step in women's business, I guess. Um, I think he did take a cut. He did take 2 months off, and he came back, and then we had that match in Madison Square Garden, and everyone loved it. But he got like a revamp. There was a point where he was getting beat up in the ring, and then he came out, cut a promo to everybody. I'm not about to be a heel, so like, get the fuck over it. Brandy came out with him. She sat in the ring, flicked Malachi off. Everybody cheered or whatever. She's like, "See, everybody wants me to come back. See, I guess, girl, we want you to come back on Cody's arm. I don't know about you wrestling, but whatever, child." Um, that was it. That was the season finale. Was episode 6. Overall, I'll say Rose to the Top was very mid. It wasn't nothing to be like, give me a season 2. I really don't see them getting a season 2. If they want to continue Rose to the Top, I think it would be a good YouTube show for the rest of the YouTube presence that AEW has. I don't think it fits in prime time. I don't think it's a good fit for television. It's just not given what it needs to give. Did it do anybody favors? Nope, it didn't. I guess people like Jim Cornette thought it showed entirely too much of the business. Showed showing them wrestling and showing in the background how they're bigging each other up and thanks for putting me over can ruin and jade already jaded fans. I can see where Jim Cornette was very upset about that, but for the most part, Rose to the Top just was a C for me. It was a C. It was a chore to watch. um It didn't do anybody favors. It didn't make me like Brandy any more than I already do. It didn't make me like Cody. I mean, it just is what it is. His sister did not do herself any favors, and I don't think a season two is necessary. Like I said, if they want to continue to do Rose to the Top or a vehicle for them, they should put it on the AEW's YouTube page as a vehicle for the family and whatever they want to do with it. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. That is my review of Rose to the Top. It was a good time. And see you next time, I guess. Talk to you on the next subject later.